Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Unbettable. I am Mondo here with Holmes and Gare. On today's episode, we recap the lackluster NBA All-Star break. What a fucking shit show that was. Holmes has got all the college baseball action for us to discuss. We're also going to preview the MLB season, look at a couple futures for every single MLB award. We're going to do our NHL picks because there's no NBA on right now. And then we got a graphic of the best fries in the world. No, not where you can get them, the best types of fries. So stay tuned for that. It's going to be great. Boys, how was your weekend? Obviously, not as much betting going on right now, but give me the rundown. Holmes, let's start with you.
College baseball got kicked off this weekend, so it was fantastic. All I was
It
doing
did.
was watching it all weekend long. It was so much fun. I am so excited to talk about it. Been a great weekend. Great weekend.
Hell yeah. Our man in space.
Yeah, your favorite man in space, the face in space. I took this weekend to fulfill my weekly commitment of doing a national holiday every week. And this week I did the National Wine Day. Um, I do have the empty bottle in the kitchen for everybody who says I didn't finish it. It took me about 5 coffee mugs to finish it because we don't have glasses in this house. Um, and then after I finished it, we had a sign night at my house. And then we went out and I continued to abuse my liver and I didn't go to bed that night until 5 a.m. And as you saw in the TikTok I posted, I woke up at 12. That was the first time I woke up. Right after I recorded that, I fell back to sleep and I woke up at 5 o'clock, and that is when my day started. So I do not recommend drinking the big boy bottle of barefoot wine. I think there's enough sugar in there to make an anorexic kid diabetic. So yeah, it hurt.
It
Well,
looked like it hurt.
Gary, I love the fact that you're finally committed to this stuff because it gets a hell of a lot of traction. And it's funny as shit, too.
It's very funny.
So I'm very proud of you. It's hilarious.
Did you like my balloon butt and boobs? I thought that
I
was
did. I was like, is this man having like a allergic reaction to the wine? I was like, what was that point in the video? You just cut to that.
well, we made a balloon arch for the sign night, and we had a couple
Ah,
of them just laying around, and I was just fucking around, so I just put them in my shirt.
You're
oh boy.
you're sick, man. You're sick, man.
He's unbelievable, isn't he, Holmes?
Yeah, he is.
All right, boys. I know you watched it at some point, at least some part of the All-Star break. What an atrocious fucking disaster that was. It was the worst thing I have ever watched ever. So much so that I think we get rid of the NBA All-Star break. It's fucking terrible. I'll let you guys give your opinions and then I will close it out with a beautifully thought out rant off the top of the dome. Gary, how did Wine Wednesday or Wine Weekend interact with NBA All-Star break?
So my roommate, Abide Talk, is a big basketball guy. So he had it on the TV, and we were flipping back and forth between that and the Genesis. And overall, what I saw was just sloppy. Like
Mhm.
it was just I don't want to say it was not thought out because obviously the events are thought out and they're planned out pretty well. But the players that attended it just took it as a joke. And I get it's like a break and nobody wants to get hurt. But at the same time, like if you're in the NBA and you can't even dribble around a wall, like so you're so bad that you fling the ball into the people sitting courtside, like that's not a good look. And then also like watching the game yesterday was entertaining, like because it was cool to see some of these big time players who are often thought of as rivals throughout the regular season kind of smile at each other and just like fuck around. But at the same time, like there was no defense being played, which I kind of understand. But at the same time, you have these like trash cans pulling up from half court and like it was just really weird. I think honestly the coolest part of it was the starry court. Um, Whenever Steph Curry was shooting the threes, I saw a highlight from that on Twitter and the court looked dope. Like that was really
Mhm.
cool. But yeah, I think the only thing that really was good was the 3-point contest. I mean, that's just individual players shooting. So it's not like they're all just being a bunch of goofballs together. So I just have mixed opinions about it. I thought it was sloppy. I thought the good part of it was to see these guys kind of show their personalities a little bit rather than just like being tryhards. But at the same time, I feel like if you're elected as an all-star, you should kind of like want to show off your all-star talent, if that makes any sense. So
Mm-hmm.
kind of weird opinion on it, but that's how I felt about it.
Holmes?
Yeah, Mondo, I will leave a lot of the negativity to you because I know you did not like this event. I know it was not for you. I know you have a lot to say on it. So I'll cover some of the positive stuff that I feel like I saw within it because, I mean, I get it. The guys aren't really trying like that hard. This is really the break they get in the NBA season. That's like the longest stretch of time, really, that they have off. So they really want to be able to get to rest. And I don't think, again, a lot of these guys are putting forth like the greatest effort here, which again diminishes the product. But I think couple good things that you did see. 3-point contest. I agree with you, Garrett. That was probably the best event of the weekend. All the guys were really trying hard in that. I picked Dame Lillard to win. He did. Back to back champion, first time in the 3-point contest, I think in like 10 years or something. So really good for Dame. But those guys were like, they were looking good from three, man. Like it was a lot of fun to watch those guys compete. A ton of guys like tied with 26 in the first round. I mean, it was pretty exciting, I think, in terms of like how it was compared to the skills challenge, and then even the dunk contest. Like, it's so hard to, I feel like, enjoy the dunk contest anymore because it feels like we've seen almost everything there is to do. There's so little creativity now, which makes it just that much harder to watch. I will say though, I did pick Mac McClung to win. He did win. G Leaguer showed up the NBA guys and won the dunk contest for the second straight year. But the All-Star game, like, it's cool to see just a lot of offense, like guys that are ripping threes. I know it's kind of annoying to see like that happen because it's not like normal fun basketball to watch. It's not super competitive. But bro, like Tyrese Halliburton was putting on a show for the Pacers home crowd. Like
Mm-hmm.
that guy could not miss last night. I mean, I went crazy when Dame just ripped from half court and made that shot. I was like, holy shit, dude. Like that's kind of exciting just to see those shots and like see those guys get really hot. That was pretty cool. But I mean, other than that, I would say those are the biggest highlights for me of the weekend. Mondo, I'll let you take it away, bro, because I know you have a lot more
Yeah,
to say.
let's go day by day. So Friday is obviously the celebrity all-star game. You don't expect much out of that. It was as big of a shit show as we thought. I do think having Micah Parsons is kind of an unfair advantage. The dude dropped like 40, and that was ridiculous.
Yeah.
So there, there's not really much to complain about. You know what you're getting with that event. It's very entertaining anyway. I wish they had, higher celebrity, like higher A-list celebrity, B-list celebrity, because there's a lot of guys out in that court that people just don't know and don't give a shit about. So
I'm
you
sure
can
they
bump
asked
the
so many people that
ratings.
say no.
Yeah, I'm sure, but like you could easily bump up the ratings just by like having, you know, more influential people on the floor.
I
Magic
agree.
Johnson's son.
Like you're telling me Drake wouldn't go out there and hoop in a celebrity game? Like he 100% would.
That's true. That's true.
Like that's the kind of shit that like bothers me at that event. But overall, that was a good one. It was funny watching Shannon and Stephen A match up. They were talking shit about, all the players today on First Take. Very funny. Let's move to Saturday, where I just wanted to shoot myself in the fucking head the whole entire time I was watching. So let's talk about the skills challenge, the thing that kicks it off. Three different teams. First of all, why are we not trying in the skills challenge where you're supposed to present your skill? Scotty Barnes, I get it. Like there's something loose up there. Funny as hell to watch. He's a great player. Shouldn't be in the skills challenge,
He's
respectfully.
goofy.
Was he the
Yeah.
one that
He's a
shot it
goofy guy.
backwards?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, goofy ass guy. Um, Anthony Edwards just straight up fucking pissed me off. People are betting on this shit like they're hard earned cash, and this motherfucker's hopping up there shooting opposite handed like he's king shit. This guy's a fucking vagina. He's such a pussy, bro. I can't stand him. He just pisses me off. He's a great player, but yeah, I lost a lot of respect for him may or may not have put some money on it. So this may be emotionally vetted. Next, 3-point contest was fucking incredible as always. So much fun to watch. Gary, like you said, the LED court, super sick. When they had it lighting up for just about everything, that was awesome. The 3-point contest, you're getting talent out there. Obviously, you want to get rid of Malik Beasley because why the fuck is he in that? Other than that, Cat's foot was on the line for just about every single 3-pointer. That's some bullshit that he got as far as he did. He did not deserve it. The Steph versus Sabrina. I thought it was cool just having, the 3-point GOAT and Steph Curry and the up and coming 3-point GOAT and Sabrina matchup. It was so cool to watch. So entertaining. I think it had like 5 million viewers throughout the whole thing. You have all this build up, Sabrina gets 26, ties the win for the actual 3-point contest. Steph comes in clutch. All you hear is Kenny Smith's dumbass mouth go, "Oh, she should have shot from the WNBA line." Dude,
Crazy,
Kenny
bro.
Smith is such a fucking bitch.
That was crazy.
I used to like this guy growing up. He needs to get the fuck off air because he ruined his entire career this weekend just by the dumbass shit he said. I don't know if he was drinking or what the fuck he was doing, but man, that man just fucking bombarded his own career, just straight into the shitter. You don't do that. This is like a big men versus women event. Like everyone's tuning in to watch it, and that's your first fucking comment after this monumental thing. Like it's mind blowing how fucking stupid you can be. It like seriously.
I'll cut
Like
that.
he needs to not be part of these events anymore. And that's not even what I'm most mad at about the night. It's the fucking dunk contest that made me nearly throw my fucking remote through the TV. Because I'm sitting there. We all know I got ties in this thing, right? Miami Heat guy. Got to have Jaime. That's my dog. Support him. The man comes out. First fucking dunk. Dunks over Shaquille O'Neal. 7'3", by the way. Shaquille O'Neal. 46. Mac
Weak
McClung's
score.
winning dunk. Dunks over Shaquille O'Neal. 49. This Heat bias is out of hand, and these judges are sitting here slurping on the Celtic cock the whole fucking time. I could dunk over Kai Cenat. I don't know why Jaylen Brown gets the award and gets a 40 fucking 8, moves on to the finals by dunking over a certified midget. I don't understand that. That makes no fucking sense to me. Why is that a thing? The Celtic blowing has got to stop. It has to. I get, Jaylen Brown, he's an all-star. Let's fucking hype him up in the dunk contest because no one wants to be part of it. Dude, those were the worst fucking dunks I've ever seen. I'm 300 fucking pounds and I could put on a better dunk contest than that. That was fucking terrible. Absolutely terrible. At this point, there should be no more dunk contest. Nobody knows how to fucking judge it. Nobody understands why we're doing the same dunks over and over. It is a terrible fucking event. What used to be awesome in the early 2010s is now an absolute piece of shit. It is fucking terrible. And you wrap all that up with a goddamn shitter of an all-star game where they just jack up threes and it's boring as hell to watch. Gary, I know you like it. It's the same fucking recipe every year. It needs to go. This entire all-star weekend was absolutely dog shit. The NBA should be fucking ashamed they put this on. Absolutely fucking ashamed. The only thing that should stick around is the 3-point contest and men versus women. That's it. The rest of it was fucking terrible. Absolutely abysmal. Wow. That's my takeaway on the All-Star weekend. Fucking dog shit.
Well, I picked Team Sharp, which won, so that was pretty cool.
Oh my God, that was incredible. I mean, that was way longer and way more intense, I think, than I expected it to be.
Yeah, I hope you get a couple clips out of that. My voice is going to be shot the rest of the episode.
No, dude, you went in. That was crazy.
But I'm serious, though. It was fucking terrible. Like as a like if you're a casual NBA fan and you don't really watch it every year and you just kind of tune in, yeah, I get that you kind of like it. But if you're someone who watches it and the NBA is supposed to be catering to their fans that, like and support it, it was terrible. And it's a product that needs to change by next year or nobody's going to watch it again. It was fucking horrible.
And I will
So,
say, like, I'm probably considered one of those casual fans more than you guys, most likely. Because, I mean, basketball, of like the four big sports, I mean, it's the one I definitely watch the least. So, I mean, I can definitely see, how kind of just seeing the positive side of it. Like, I enjoyed some of the events, but I also get what you're saying, too. Like, being more of a fan of the game, like, it's probably just a very shit event to watch, especially when you're like looking forward to seeing all of the best players in the game, like all in the same like event and space. Like that's so cool to be able to see and then to get like a product like you're saying. I can see how that would be really disappointing.
yeah, but Holmes, even as you said, you're a very casual fan. And the first thing you pointed out was how terrible the dunk contest was
Yeah, I
and
mean
how
it was
bad
not
the
great.
skills challenge was. Gary, you did the same thing.
Yeah, yeah,
So, like,
absolutely.
that's
There's
it.
flaws with it. There's
Growing
flaws
up,
with
you
it. Like I
watch,
see what you're saying.
yeah, you watch Blake Griffin jump over a car.
Yeah,
Aaron Gordon's doing 360s from the free throw line,
man, that dunk contest was
or
crazy.
Zach Levine. It doesn't matter. The point is, the dunk contest is fucking terrible now. It needs to be replaced or just fully taken out. Like we're at that point. It's terrible.
Yeah, I agree. Something's got to change with it. They got to either make a new event or they have to completely revamp it. And to be honest, I don't even really know what that would look like. So,
Honestly, like there's so much beef in the NBA and like players are always pissed at each other. Make it a one-on-one. Like fans vote,
it'd be
two
funny.
players that have beef, they match up, they battle it out one-on-one style. Like that would be cool. That would be fun to watch. What's not fun to watch is Jaylen Brown using his left hand as a power up in the dunk contest because he's the NBA's highest paid player and doesn't know how to use his left hand. That's not fun to watch. Okay. Sorry
I agree.
for
I agree.
being so aggressive, but I feel very strongly about how terrible the All Star weekend was.
Hey, man, you got to put your opinion out there. I respect it. You respect it.
Yeah.
Set your mind out there.
Mahomes, I'll send it to you because I need to go find some fucking Tylenol or something.
Get a break.
Take it away with college baseball. I'll be back in a sec.
All right, dude. Let's talk about some college baseball. The biggest thing I think I wanted to cover before we talk about how the weekend was, because this was the first weekend of college baseball. It's really exciting. Like I said at the top of the pod, I was watching it all weekend long, and I didn't put any plays out there officially this weekend because I kind of wanted to see how the lines were going to look. There weren't really a lot to choose from this weekend, especially on Hard Rock. There was just not really a whole lot going on. So hopefully, as the weekends continue to progress, the season progresses, there'll be more lines to choose from. But I will say, I put together a little list of betting tips if we're trying to bet college baseball. And this is kind of stuff that I like to go off of in the sport as well. Biggest thing, betting overs rather than unders. This is a sport unlike the MLB. You're going to see a rare amount of pitchers duels at this level. There's some good pitching out there, but typically, more often than not, it's going to be one sided. You are going to get some games out there where you're going to have an ace versus an ace. And it's going to be a very highly talked about matchup between like two big ranked teams. Maybe in that game, we're considering an under. And then once we get to conference play, that's when we're looking at unders too, because those games might be a little tighter, but especially in non conference play, overs are the way to go. There's going to be a lot of runs scored in this game. There were a ton of games with teams going well over double digits in the run scoring department. So keep that in mind. I'm not going to be betting a whole lot of totals, but overs rather than unders, that is the big move to go in college baseball. I will also say it's going to be really tough to bet single money lines in college baseball as well. There's going to be a good amount of favorites out there that are around the 200 to 300 range on the money line. So what we're going to be doing a lot likely, and I was doing it a lot this weekend. I went 5-2 on different parlays that I was making in college baseball. So it's going to be like 2-3 leg money lines most of the time for teams that are playing on the weekend. And then midweek games, we'll kind of figure out parlays as well. Tuesdays, Wednesdays, those are going to be the biggest days for midweek games. So we'll drop those plays on the Twitter. I'll have them all on the Hard Rock. I'll probably have at least like 2 or 3 plays to drop tomorrow with the midweek games. But the money lines, parlaying them together, that's going to be the biggest way to go just to get better plus money value putting these together. They're going to be too tough to bet straight up because they're just going to be way too juicy. As far as the spreads go, there's going to be some out there for games, but we're going to really have to pick and choose our spots in between teams that are really hot and looking really good and teams that are just looking the complete opposite, trending downward. It's going to be really tough. I don't really like to mess around a lot with spreads in college baseball, but when we do find spots we like, we'll definitely put them out there. And I will say, last thing, kind of on the betting side of it, there's going to be a lot of upsets that happen. College baseball, this is going to be a sport where upsets are going to happen, honestly, more often than not. Like teams that are ranked in the top 5 are not going to sweep every weekend. Honestly, you can get lucky to sweep at this level with how much parity there is and how much good talent there is at all levels. I mean, you saw this past weekend. I'll just jump into it. Florida baseball, 9-5 loss on Friday night, opening night to St. John's. This was not expected at all. And Florida came into the season ranked number 2 overall. And they came out and lost to an unranked team from up north that just came down and was ready to play. Florida, I mean, I've talked about it. There's been a ton of hype with them in the offseason. But I think this was a really tough game because I'm going to say something right now, and this is kind of a quiet opinion of mine in terms of Florida baseball. I don't think Cade Fisher is going to be the right guy for us as the Friday night starter. And I know it's one start. I don't want to overreact to one start or anything like that. But Cade Fisher is a guy that operated very well out of the bullpen last year. And I understand that we're giving him that starting slot, that this chance right now because he pitched so well last year. But his stuff, in my opinion, is much more suited for relief role. He's pumping in fastballs around 92, 93, the low 90s range. He has a nice changeup and a nice curveball. But that is stuff that I think works much better at the relief level. I think if you're going to be a starter, especially for an SEC team like Florida, you got to be a guy that's throwing upper 90s. You got to have filthy stuff, wicked command. You got to have a guy that you know is going to be out there to be a workhorse. And Cade Fisher was not looking like that on Friday night. Opening night jitters, maybe we can attribute it to that first game of the season. Again, I don't want to overreact or anything, but that's just my opinion going forward. I will say a good part about this game, the lineup looked really good. They went down early, so it was really just playing comeback ball the entire way, and they couldn't make up enough ground to overcome St. John's in the way they played offense. But watch Colby Shelton this year. The transfer from Alabama led Alabama in home runs last year. He is going to be a force. He had a 400-foot bomb to right field in the Friday night game. He is going to be a major, major key to Florida's offense. He's going to play shortstop most of the way. So big guy to watch in the lineup this year. You guys have anything you want to say about Florida baseball? Did you watch the game at all? Any opinions that you got?
Um,
Just excited
Well,
for the season.
yeah, and seeing the fan turnout was awesome, bro. Like that thing was packed to the brim. Even
Yeah.
the berms were packed. Everything was filled. Just kind of an unfortunate way to open up the season, but it's definitely not enough to make me feel uneasy for the season. We only got to play one game against this team. It rained all weekend here in Gainesville, pretty much across the state of Florida. It was raining all day, every day, Saturday and Sunday. So that was unfortunate. I think the Gators come back on a Tuesday or Wednesday when we play North Florida.
Mhm.
And I'm looking forward to that. But like Holmes was saying, bet the overs because obviously, I think Florida versus St. John's was a prime example of this. It ended at what, like 6-9 or 5-9, something like that. Um, yeah, save your nerfies until MLB season for sure.
Yes,
Mhm.
absolutely. I agree with you, Garrett. Just like one game. I mean, again, I think if we're going to come out Saturday and Sunday and it didn't rain, I think we're going to have a much better chance to get 2 wins, come out with a series win, look good after the first weekend. I was going to feel good about Liam Peterson, freshman, very highly touted freshman, taking them out on Saturday, and then Cags on Sunday. I'm excited to see them next weekend, though, but we do have 2 midweek games. You're right. Tomorrow and Wednesday, we'll be playing North Florida. So excited to watch those, finally get Florida back in action. It should be sunny all week here in Gainesville. So, God damn it, we will play baseball. Before we wrap it up, I'll go over a couple other teams that I saw this weekend, some things I just wanted to point out going forward. Number one, Wake Forest. They looked incredibly dominant this weekend. Chase Burns, man, when this guy pitches, we're going to have to ride Wake Forest almost every Friday night because this guy is absolutely wicked. I mean, he's throwing fastballs 102, 103 miles an hour. His sliders reaching 100 miles an hour. It is filthy. He is going to be carving up dudes all season. He could have a Paul Skeens-like season. I
That's what I
mean,
was about to say. Yeah.
he's going to be crazy this year. It's a travesty that Tennessee wasn't able to use him to his highest potential last year, and he didn't even like start for them in the back half of the season last year. Wake Forest, man, I think they got themselves a bona fide ace in the Friday night slot. So watch out for them. They swept this weekend, beating Illinois, Fordham, and Akron. So we'll look out for them going into the next weekend. Number 12, Duke, also out of the ACC. Dude, they had a great weekend. They hit 11 home runs in one game against George Mason. 11 home runs. I mean, their offense was clicking on all cylinders all weekend. They beat Coastal Carolina, a very, very good offensive team, and Indiana, a very good team in the top 25 as well. So definitely keep your eye on Duke moving forward. The ACC is going to be very strong. Another team, Clemson. We talked about them in the preseason. They swept Xavier this week. I was betting on Clemson every day and putting them in parlays because I know how good this team is going to be starting out in the beginning of this season, especially with the schedule that they'll have non-conference. I think they're going to be piling up a lot of wins. So definitely keep your eye on a lot of ACC teams. As far as the SEC goes, we talked a little bit about Florida. Number 9, Tennessee. They had some great wins this weekend. Show their power at the plate, on the mound. They lost to a really talented Oklahoma team 5-1 in 10 innings. Just gave up 4 runs in that 10th inning and couldn't climb back. But they got a 6-2 win against number 21 ranked Texas Tech. Really great team this weekend, and 11-5 win against Baylor. So Tennessee is going to be a really, really strong team to watch out for in the SEC. Also in the same hand, number 6, Vanderbilt. They struggled a little bit, I will say, with FAU this weekend, but FAU, they're a really talented team in Florida, man. And Florida teams like FAU, FGCU, UCF, do not sleep on those teams. They're going to give a lot of like highly ranked top 25 teams a run for their money. Vanderbilt, they came back, though, had a massive blowout win on Sunday, won the series. So good start for Vanderbilt. And then number 5, TCU. This was really crazy this weekend. They swept FGCU, but they barely did it. Their pitching was very subpar. They had a lot of miscues. They looked like they were struggling. And like I just said, FGCU, man, that is going to be a team we're going to bet on, I think, a lot this season. They're a very underrated team. I watched them play a good amount last year. I think they're going to be just as good this year. So FGCU, watch out for that team. But TCU, maybe moving forward, we might have to test the water to see how they're going to do against some upper ranked competition in the Big 12.
There's one game that I think you're missing.
What's that, brother?
LSU versus VMI. Did you see that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I did see that. That was, I mean, LSU, I just think at this point, they're expected to be a offensive factory. Tommy White is just going to continue to lead them. Their pitching is, I think, just as good as last year with a couple of the returners that they had. We're going to talk about them a lot this season, I'm sure. In SEC play, there's going to be so many great matchups to watch. But, dude, for them to put up, what was it, like 27 runs on VMI?
27-5. Yeah.
Freaking insane, man. Like, I mean, and that's what I'm saying with the overs too. Like in this non-conference schedule, where a lot of these top-ranked teams are playing teams that aren't really at that level, so to speak. Like there is just going to be a ton of offense scored. Like this is, I don't want to say it's batting practice for these top 25 teams, but I mean this is the chance where they get to see like how they can do on a consistent basis against pretty subpar pitching before they start getting into conference play. Because like I said, when we get into this SEC conference play, games are going to be a lot tighter. Maybe we start looking at a little bit more unders because the pitching is just going to be a lot better. The lineups are going to be a lot more, I think, in tune to how much the pitching is going to improve come conference play.
Love it. Gary, I know you want to talk some golf, so good after it.
Yeah, I know we don't talk golf too much, but I feel like this weekend deserves to be talked about a little bit. This week we had the Genesis Invitational at Riviera. This is Tiger's tournament. He puts it on every year. I don't think it's just let me talk about Tiger for a second. For those who don't know, Tiger withdrew, I think it was the first or second day after stating that he had flu-like symptoms and felt dizzy. So this was Tiger's first week back with his new sponsor, Sunday Red, which is also produced by TaylorMade. And I was thinking that we were going to see a full weekend of Tiger play just because of this new sponsorship, this new deal, kind of a way to advertise it to the people. But no, he was out of there. He shot, I think, +5. He was +5, and then he withdrew. So, I feel like we're at this stage in Tiger's career where unfortunately I mean, it's already seeing him play any day is a blessing because you never know when he's going to show up or not.
True.
But I think we're at this stage where Tiger is going to be more of a mentor to these guys rather than a competitor. I think it's already kind of evident that he is at that stage. He just can't do it anymore. He's hurt, he's mangled, and I don't think that a lot of these young guys really give a shit. They're going to stomp him into the ground because he is the GOAT. So if you can come out and beat the GOAT, of course you're going to do it. Overall, though, weekend was very contested. Purse of $20 million taken home by Hideki Matsuyama, who I don't believe has won a championship since he won the Masters about 2 years ago. He had a lot of
Wow.
issues with his back. Came out and shot a 62, which is also equivalent to a -9 par 71 course, and won the tournament outright with a -17. I was a little bit upset with this because not voted, I betted on my boy Zalatoris, aka people call him Skeletor, because he's super skinny. But I really want to see Zalatoris win a championship one of these days. He comes in the top 10 way too often and not have won as much as he deserves.
True.
And he's just really a calculated player, but his last day of play, he went -2. And Matsuyama, bro, props to you. Playing lights out -9 is just ridiculous. So props to him. Another name in the top 10 that I want to mention because I feel like he hasn't been there in a while is Mr. Jason Day. Jason Day has
Okay.
always been one of my favorite golfers. He's a great dude. Just kind of has had a rough go at it the past few years, but he's maintained his tour card, and a -9 finish at one of the most popular tournaments of the year is a great way to do it. Um, but yeah, that's all I really have to say about it. Good to see Matsuyama back in it. His bright yellow polo, you can't miss him. See him from a mile away. And yeah, that's all I gotta say about golf.
All right. Let's take it back over to baseball. We have the MLB preview, our 2024 preview, where we pick our early favorites for the awards. So let's kick it off. And the most obvious being, gentlemen, who is going to win the World Series this year? Holmes, kick it off.
All right, I do believe, and actually, I did not pick anybody to win the World Series. I'm going to pull up the odds on Hard Rock right now. I know when we and Gary did a little Futures episode way back when, I did have the Orioles to win the AL. I did not pick the Orioles to win the World Series, but at plus 750, I thought it was great value on the Orioles because I think they are going to be a wagon this year. That team is only going to get better. Getting Corbin Burns in the offseason was a massive, massive acquisition. They needed that starting pitching prowess on that Orioles squad. I do think, though, Kyle Gibson has been suffering like some elbow problems recently. I think a UCL strain. That is not good for their pitching staff. So that is really unfortunate. But I do see them making a lot more moves as the season goes on before the trade deadline. But let's take a look right here. If I were to place my hard-earned money on somebody to win the World Series right now, I think I got to do the second leading odds in the race, the Atlanta Braves at plus 550. I just think the Braves are too good of a squad with how many young, great pieces they have on that team. And I think I'm going to say this right now, and we could talk about it a little bit later with some of these awards, but I think Chris Sale is going to have a big comeback year for the Atlanta Braves. I know he has been struggling with the injury bug for years with the Red Sox. He has just not been able to get right. But when that dude is out there, man, he is a strikeout machine. I mean, adding him to that Atlanta pitching staff, bro, I don't think a lot of people realize that he could be a massive piece in them going back to the chip. So I'm going to take the Braves at plus 550.
Gary?
So I have two picks to win the World Series, kind of just because it's so early. It's not that big of a deal if you lose $5, but if you make $100 off of another bet, then that's another story to be told. So for my first pick, I'm gonna be taking the New York Yankees to win the World Series. I feel like this is a big comeback season for the Yankees. They played like absolute dog shit last year. Mondo, I'm not trying to be rude. It's just facts. I feel like
You're
last
not
year
wrong.
I feel like last year the Yankees were not the Yankees. You know, they either win it all or they play subpar. But last year was bad. Mondo posted a picture of Giancarlo Stanton today, and that man looks like he can run now. He is skinny, and I think he still has the power to do it though. So I feel like they're just gonna have a dangerous offensive squad. And didn't they pick up the Rays pitcher as well? Or am I tripping? Glass now.
Oh,
No, that's the Dodgers,
oh,
dude.
Dodgers.
Dodgers.
Okay, my bad. Sorry.
Yankees got Stroman.
Yeah.
Scratch that. Whatever. First
Maybe
pick.
Snell. Maybe.
Chill with that. Chill, bro.
They got an offer out.
First
Jesus
pick is going
Christ.
to the Yankees. My second pick is going to the Phillies. I feel like the Phillies really had it. I think they had everything last season, and it just kind of fell apart there at the end. But they just have too many weapons, and their team chemistry is there. And I just think they're going to be a dangerous team this year. So I'm going to take the Yankees as my most likely, but if I had to pick a runner-up, I'm going to take the Phillies.
So we all know I'm hammering the Yankees, right? Like that's a no-brainer.
Yep.
Obviously, that's my favorite team. That's like a personal pick. But if we're putting personal aside, and I had to give you guys two recommendations for your cash. The first one would be I would go with Holmes, the Atlanta Braves. The Atlanta Braves finally have a healthy pitching staff. They have a healthy team overall. They are a very strong team. They will put up a lot of runs. The Braves are your heavy favorite to win. The Dodgers will fall apart. Mark my words, they will fall apart. But if I'm looking at it from the outside and I want to just toss some money on a team that may or may not make the cut, that's the Orioles. I talked to Buster Olney the other day at work. He came in, he was doing a bunch of podcast stuff. And I was shooting the shit. That man is heavy on the Orioles this year. He
Oh, yeah.
thinks they're going to be the team to beat in the AL East. They obviously are a very strong up and coming team. And if they don't win it this year, look out for the next 2 to 3 years because this core is incredible. And you still have players like Jackson Holiday coming up the ranks.
Yep.
So I'm going to put Baltimore Orioles as my big future and the Braves as my low risk future. Obviously, I want the Yankees to win it all. So that's another personal pick. So truthfully, I have three picks, but I didn't want to be fully biased.
Fair.
You know what I mean? That you can't have
Fair.
that. Next, we move to MVP. So we'll start in the AL. Gary, let's start with you this time. Who do you have for the AL MVP?
This one's hard because you look at the top 10 and there are a lot of big names that are sitting there. You got Judge, Soto, Jordan, Seager. It's just like it's hard. Poor Mike Trout. Seeing Mike Trout's name on there just makes me sad. Um, if I had to pick, and if the Yankees do take it all, like we're talking about, I'm gonna go Juan Soto.
Mhm.
I feel like Juan Soto was a great addition for the Yankees. He's always been a good player no matter where he goes. And he has the power to compete with people like Aaron Judge and Giancarlo, but I feel like he's more, I don't want to say consistent because of course Aaron Judge is a pretty consistent hitter, but I'm gonna take Juan Soto.
Okay. Um, I'm kind of with you in terms of talking Yankees. Again, like for all of these, I'm going to have two picks, one a logical, the other a dark horse. The most logical for me would be Aaron Judge. We've seen what the man can do when he's healthy. As long as he stays healthy, you know he will put up the big numbers. He will be the reason that the Yankees have a great season. I know we got Juan Soto. Juan Soto is going to be very focused on pulling the ball, which actually does not translate well in terms of output for him. So I could see him having a little bit slower of a start this year than people think. And that's coming from a Yankee fan. Juan Soto's best plate appearances are gap to gap or dead center. The man, when he tries to pull too much, he falls apart, he grounds out, or it's a weak flyout. So I think Aaron Judge is my lock for MVP. If I'm taking a dark horse, though, don't be shocked if Mike Trout comes out on a vengeance tour this year. The man got nothing out of it. Don't be shocked if this man shows out again. I'm telling you, people stay sleeping on him. He's a baller. He always has been. He always will be. Holmes, who you got?
Okay. Gare, I'm going to agree with you on my first pick. I think Juan Soto at plus 600, just right above or right under Aaron Judge, I guess, in the running. I think that's a fantastic pick because Mondo, I hate to say it, but I have to disagree with you, dude. I think Yankee Stadium is perfectly tailored for Juan Soto if he's going to have a monster year in the home run department. And honestly, I think this year is going to remind me a lot of Aaron Judge playing in his contract year. Juan Soto is in a very similar situation. It's already been talked about that this is kind of a 1 year thing right now with the Yankees. But I mean, if he goes out and has an MVP season, you don't think the Yankees are going to try and throw the book at him to make sure that he stays? I mean, I think it's a very similar situation to the Aaron Judge season. I can see Juan Soto hitting 50, 55 bombs, having a wild ass season and trying to make that money. I can totally see it this year. So I'm going to put a little bit on plus 600. And for the dark horse, the guy I really love at plus 2,000, Adley Rutschman, bro. Because like we
Fuck.
just said, bro, because we just talked about it. The Orioles, like they are going to be one of the top teams in the AL this year. I don't think you understand. And Adley Rutschman has just improved every year since he's been in the league. He is one of the best catchers in the league right now, the entire MLB. The guy is only going to get better at the plate as time goes on. He is an immaculate hitter. He is the leader of that Orioles team. Like, I think he can put together a pretty damn good season for that O squad and lead them straight into the playoffs and deep into the playoffs. So I'm gonna put a little bit on Adley Rutschman plus 2,000. I think there's just way too much value there to pass up.
Yeah, that was gonna be my dark horse pick because I realized I didn't make one, but I'm riding with either him or Gunner. I'd like to see Gunner win it just because he's so young, but I'll
Fair.
just have to see how it goes.
All right. Over to NL MVP. My no-brainer pick is Acuna. The man's coming off of a 40-70 season, something ridiculous like that. It's gonna be a no-brainer for him, especially with Shohei recovering from his elbow injury. So I'd put my money on him for like your obvious pick. However, if we're talking sleeper picks, Trey Turner plus 2,000. The guy at the second half of the season after the ovation was the hottest hitter in baseball. Nobody was better than him through the stretch. So look out for Trey Turner having a better year this season. He's finally fitting in Philly. Trey Turner could be your secret MVP dark horse. Holmes?
All right, I like that. I think those are two really good picks there. And as much as I want to agree with you on the Ronald Acuna Jr. part because of just how dominant he was last season, I mean, it's hard to see him really slowing down. But I'm going to take two that are a little bit longer in terms of odds. And the first one I'm going to take is Fernando Tatis. I think that this man now has the spotlight all on him with the Padres now. Yeah, you got a lot of stars over there, but Blake Snell's not there anymore. Juan Soto's not there anymore. Tatis, you got to be the man, bro. You got to be the man. And when this guy came into the league, there was so much hype around this guy. The PED suspension set him back a little bit, and he's been dealing with a little bit of injuries here and there. But I think if he stays healthy all season, man, he could absolutely have a monster season. He hits bombs, he steals bags, he plays incredibly well defensively at shortstop and in the outfield. I think there's a lot of potential for this guy to have an MVP caliber season once again. So I'm going to go with Fernando Tatis at plus 1,000. And then I'm also going to take Corbin Carroll as a dark horse at plus 1,750. I wish the odds were honestly a little longer on this, but man, we saw how dominant this guy was as a leader for the Diamondbacks last season. I mean, when he's on the base paths, it's almost a guaranteed stolen base with his quickness. He handles the bat very well, can easily stretch doubles into triples, singles into doubles. I mean, this is a guy that I think is going to hit easily for average, maybe even 320, 330 this year. He's going to hit his fair amount of home runs. He's going to get a ton of extra base hits, a ton of stolen bases. I see that guy being an absolute force in the National League this year. And I know the Diamondbacks don't really get a lot of respect, but they went incredibly far in the playoffs last year. They showed that they are a legitimate team to mess around with in the National League. I'm going to take Corbin Carroll long shot at plus 1,750.
Gary.
Yeah, like Hart was saying, I'm taking Corbin Carroll. That was the first name that jumped out at me. I think that if the Diamondbacks are to go the distance like they did last year, which I think they have the potential to, I think that I feel like he has the ability to hit, but he also has the speed ability, which is something that a lot of these big hitters lack. So when he is on base, he is going to score. If they're or not score necessarily, but he is going to get extra bases because he can just move like that. Um, there's a couple names on here that I don't really know why are on here. Shohei, I don't think stands a chance of winning MVP this year. Um, Another name that also jumps out at me, like Mondo said, was Trey. I was debating on between him and Bryce, but I think Trey again has that speed factor where he can move. And Bryce is not slow, don't get me
No,
wrong,
not at
but
all.
when Bryce comes up, he's looking to bang, like he is gonna bang that ball. And Trey's just more focused on making contact, but he can also bang at the same time. So my two picks are gonna be Corbin and then also Trey Turner.
Nice.
Love it. All right. Let's move on to AL Cy Young. So obviously, I'm going to rock Garrett Cole as my favorite for the Cy Young. That is a no-brainer. The guy has been the best pitcher in baseball for the better part of a decade. But now, as far as someone who could surprise you this year, I would not overlook Dylan Cease plus 2,500. The guy has been seen as a trade chip. As you know, trade chips tend to perform a lot better when a lot more is on the line. Dylan Cease could be your guy to surprise you this year. Gary?
God, this is where it gets a little tricky for me. Um, I like Mondo's take of Garrett Cole. I believe he took it home last year, correct?
Yep.
So with the talk I was making about the Yankees potentially taking it all the way, I feel like he definitely has potential. But one guy that I would like to see who I think could be a really good pitcher if he just ups his game a tiny bit is Mr. Corbin Burns. I feel like he definitely showed out last year. Kind of lacked there at the later part of the season when they really needed him. Um, but again, I think it's revenge season for the Diamondbacks, so I think that I'm gonna take Corbin Burns as my dark horse.
Diamondbacks? What do the
Okay.
Diamondbacks have to do with this?
Am I tripping? Corbin Burns, not the pitcher for the Diamondbacks?
Bro, no. It's pitcher for the Orioles. We just talked about this.
Bro, who am I talking?
Corbin Carroll is who you're thinking of.
Yeah, that's what we just talked about as MVP, you clown.
Yeah, well, I'm cutting that part of the video.
Oh
Go
No,
ahead,
leave it in.
Art.
my God. All right. I am going to go with two names. I am also going to take Corbin Burns at plus 1,000. I just think there's great value there, and him being in a new place with the Orioles, I think he's going to thrive with this team, man. He's an automatic ace for them. I think he's going to be awesome. It's a change of scenery. And I think there's a legitimate chance here for him to have an outstanding season with the O's. So I'm going to go with Corbin Burns at plus 1,000. And then dark horse, Nate Eovaldi plus 3,000. He's down on the list a little bit, but that guy pitched so damn well for the Rangers last year. He fell apart towards the end of the season a little bit last year and kind of fell out of the race late, but he turned it on again in the playoffs, and he was super dominant for the Rangers in the playoff stretch. Key piece to them winning the World Series. So I think Nate Eovaldi is not getting enough respect as one of the top pitchers there for the Rangers. Plus 3,000. We'll put it on him.
All right. Now, most naturally, we will go to the NL Cy Young Award. Holmes, let's start with you.
Oh, I know Cy Young is pretty tough, I will say. I'm just going to have, actually, no, I will have two picks. And I'm going to pick two guys for the Dodgers, Yoshinobu Yamamoto and Tyler Glasnow. I think both of these guys are going to have legit ass seasons. Yamamoto's stuff is just absolutely filthy. I think he is actually going to translate pretty well, even in his first season in the league. The Dodgers just know how to pump out good pitching products, I guess, in their system. That's why I think Tyler Glasnow is going to thrive too, man. As long as that dude stays healthy, like he can be in the running for Cy Young almost any year. Health is the biggest problem. I think maybe a little bit of a change of scenery for him too might do him some good this year. So I'm going to put down on Yamamoto plus 1,400 and Tyler Glasnow plus 1,750.
Okay, Gary.
Yeah, Yoshinobu has a badass name, but he's also a badass pitcher from what I've seen on Twitter. So I'm gonna rock with him as my first pick. My second pick, though, I'm gonna go with the man with the stash, Mr. Spencer Strider. Um, you saw what he could do last year, pitching upwards of 100 every single fastball. There really was no variation in his fastball. And he's nasty. So I'm gonna take him as well. Taking both of those.
Okay. As far as someone who I think will genuinely have a chance at winning it, Zach Gallen is coming off an unreal season. I think he has a chance to step it up even further and capture the Cy Young over the likes of Strider, Wheeler, Webb, you name it. I think Gallen is a legitimate candidate to run away with it.
Fair.
As far as, a more dark horse option, there's definitely a couple guys on the list. My personal favorite would probably be Aaron Nola plus 2250. We saw he's had a kind of up and down, past couple years, but there are times where he tightens it up and he locks in and he looks like the best pitcher in baseball. So I feel like if he can lead this, rotation this year in Philly, he will find a way to dominate and be your dark horse candidate. So those are my two picks. Next, we have Rookie of the Year. So we'll do both at once. My NL pick, Yamamoto. My AL pick, probably Royce Lewis. I think Royce Lewis is still in the AL.
Yeah, is he in the running this year?
I think so.
I
Oh
don't.
no, he's not considered a rookie though.
Oh no, he's not. Fuck.
Yeah,
I
Okay.
know who I'm taking for the AL.
I know who you're taking too. He's sick.
Yamamoto. And I'm gonna go Wyatt Langford.
Knew it. I know that's who Gary's taking too.
Okay, you want him? Fine. I'll go Jackson Holiday then. Gary, you can take Langford. Go ahead, Gary. Who are your two picks?
Yeah, if Mondo said Wyatt Langford, which he kind of did, but then went back and said Jackson Holiday was going to be my second pick. But since he retracted that statement, I'm taking Langford. Go motherfucking Gator bitch. And for my NL pick, Oh, Paul Skeens. Over here. Nah. Uh, okay, I'll have two for NL. I'll go Yoshinobu, just because I feel like he's gonna have a crazy season. But my dark horse, I know we're not really doing it, but I would also like to see him win it as much as I kind of hate him for what he did to us. Is Mr. Paul Skeens. I mean, if you watched him at all throughout his collegiate career, you know the man's a dog. And he's dating arguably one of the baddest women on the planet. So I'm going Paul
This
Skeens.
is valid.
Nice. I will go with oh man, this is tough. This is really tough. I guess if I picked Cy Young for Yamamoto, like I gotta go with him for rookie of the year. It only just makes sense for plus 150. But as far as the American League goes, I will probably take Junior Caminero plus 750 for the Rays. I think this man could be the future now that Wander Franco, unfortunately, is going to be detained and will probably never play in the MLB again. Junior Caminero, I think, will be the next Rays stud, so I'm gonna go plus 750 with him.
Damn. Gosh. That's so that's so crazy. Even a year after that news came out, it's still just astounding to me.
I know, dude.
I know. All right. Now we dive into comeback player of the year. So there are a lot of good options this year. We'll start with the NL. My first pick would be Max Fried. The guy's coming back off a brutal injury. He was one of the best pitchers in baseball before he started dealing with it. I think he's due for a bounce back year and a potential Cy Young candidacy. Holmes, who do you have?
I'm gonna go with Chris Sale. I talked about him a little bit earlier in the pod. Another Braves pitcher. Same thing with injury, man. He just hasn't been himself the past few years. I think this is the year he gets right and finally returns to form.
Am I
Gary?
stupid? Where do y'all see this at on Hard Rock?
It's not on Hard Rock. I can't find it either right now.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah, it's not hard rock. It's just picks.
I feel like I just got into baseball last year, so I don't really have any input on this one. Sorry, y'all.
Okay.
I mean, I'm just being honest.
You know what? I respect it. Holmes, your AL comeback player of the year.
This one is a little bit tougher for me. I don't really. You know what? I actually do have a good pick, and this is kind of a guy that I do think is going to have a pretty good year. Trevor Story for the Red Sox. All injured pretty much all of last year. Really hasn't gotten like going at all since he's been with the Red Sox, but he's finally going to be healthy. Moved over to shortstop now that they have Vaughn Grissom from the Braves in that Chris Sale trade playing second base. So I think Trevor Story is going to have a pretty nice year for the Red Sox and finally get back to what he's able to do at the plate.
That's a good one. I think I'm gonna take one that may not be that surprising. I'm gonna take Mike Trout. Only played 82 games last year. He was pretty good in all the games he played. If he stays
Fair.
healthy, the guy is a legitimate candidate to win comeback player of the year. So wouldn't be shocked. Then we have what do we have? Manager of the year.
Jesus.
Yeah, we got a lot. We got manager of the year and reliever of the year. Do we want to do that? Manager, I think it's universally it's going to be the Orioles. I think would be the universal AL. And then in the NL,
Probably rock with that.
I mean probably the Braves, I would think.
Yeah, Snedeker again, maybe if he's still the
Yeah,
manager.
I think so.
Yeah, I don't know. That one's always hard. I don't really know a ton of the managers around the league too well.
Okay. Gary, do you have any closers that you want to do?
Any closer what? Like closer pitchers? Oh,
Relievers.
I
Yeah.
thought you meant like closing remarks. Like, oh, sorry.
No, I got that right after this.
Who's the I think his name's Jose Alvarado.
Not a bad pick.
Yeah, he's
For the
pretty
Phils.
dirty.
For the Phil's not bad.
Good job, Gare. I'm
Like
proud
that.
of you.
Well, I mean, that's not a bad pick, is it? Like,
No,
No,
it's
no,
not. It's
I respect
not.
that. I respect that. Yeah.
That's why I said, Holmes, you got picks AL, NL, closer of the year.
shout
No,
out to the
I
show.
don't. I don't have anything honestly on that front. I don't. I wouldn't say. Honestly, I know that a lot of relievers have moved around. Like I just saw Liam Hendricks got signed by the Red Sox. I think yesterday. So I think too much has been moving around for me. I don't have a good pick on that.
Okay. I'm gonna go Devin Williams, NL, and Josh Hader for the AL.
There you go. Respectable.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry to have to do this to you. We are blue balling you with this graphic today. We will hit it next episode. If you guys enjoyed the episode, please make sure to like, subscribe, share with everyone you know. We will see you guys on Wednesday with a very special guest. See you then. Peace.